Hello everybody and welcome. Have we got a good one for you today? This is the Manifold Promotional League Round of 8 Group 1 Winners Match. I am Brad, with me as always is Adam. Adam, who do we got?
So, fresh off their wins in the placement matches, we've got Nick and Issa facing off. Let's start with Nick. Nick's deck is a Chryssy and 2 punching bags attachment deck, where 11 Cial and Nina both serve to just blunt the blow so that by the end of the game, Chryssy, who does survive until the end of the game because of her ability, will have as much build up on her as possible.
Yeah, and Chryssy decks, very often, she's an attachment hero through and through. And a lot of times people are trying to figure out, do I play Chain Plasma Rifle or do I play Blessing of the Cloth? And Nick has figured out, you can just do both. And at the same time, a lot of times your Chryssy sticks around until your opponent has done all 32 damage. But by putting 2 11s in front of her, she's here with 36 health.
Yep.
And so she is going to be the host of these very powerful threats. She is not going to be defeated the way that you typically want to defeat attachment heroes. And I think that she might give Issa fits.
Yep. Another cool part about this deck is that Magnite Studios' continued training and Heirloom Cittern let Chryssy keep growing even after all 3 of her attachment slots have been filled.
And on the other side of the table, you're going to find another blue and yellow deck, but this one is wildly different. Almost every card in Nick's deck is mechanical or ethereal. Almost all of them are attachments except for a few structures. Issa is on blue-yellow 6-gem, and it is all organic characters.
Yeah, all the way down. So Issa is able to use Alric and Eldry to get gems 5 and 6. And he's going to be using those to play just very good cards. Your typical Docide Thug, Energy Retracer, Enthusiastic, Harmonist, into big stuff like Orchestral Conductor, Talpat Enforcers. Issa's trying to play the most efficient, effective ways to get dice in play as possible in blue-yellow, and 6 gems worth of that is hopefully better than 5 gems worth of whatever their opponent's doing.
And so Issa's not doing very much removal. They're not tremendously interactive. They've got a couple Detonate Mines, a couple Disrupt Communications, and Strike Downs. But that's not going to match up very well against basically any of Nick's threats. And so Issa is going to be just playing their giant support characters and playing their dice removal, which they still have in spades, in order to try to prevent Nick from just walloping their gem production, which comes from their heroes.
Yep. So I think this is going to be 2 ships passing the night, chucking a few sleight of hands back and forth, and otherwise this is going to be a big, cool one.
We are down at the table. These are 2 very impressive players, and while they are shuffling and drawing their opening hands and making their opening locales, I want to ask you guys to like this content. I know you're watching. I see the numbers. I really appreciate that you're watching. I hope I don't scare you away with this. But if you want to up our game, you can up your game. You can like this video. You can help more people find it. All right, looks like Issa won the die roll, and Issa is going to start by activating Jeremiah Fane.
Jeremiah being the first activation here is how I always play my Jeremiah decks. Rolling green-yellow at the very start is nice, and we got 2 damage out of it. Sure.
Yeah, and both of Issa's other heroes force you into making a play when you activate them. So this is the only thing you can do for free that doesn't put you down a specific line.
Nick has 2 free activations because both Nina and 11 Cial don't really care about nothing's changing about them. But Issa will just fire off a sleight of hand off Eldry in order to get rid of that 2 modify.
And just like we've seen in previous rounds, Issa really prioritizes draw in the early rounds.
Yes.
So sleight of hand turns that blank green into a draw 2, and Issa already has draw 3 in their pool.
Yep, draw 3 damage. Great. Nick is going to play an Lifecrafter's Art. Yep. Thought there was an Heirloom Cittern for a second. That doesn't make sense. So Lifecrafter's Art here is going to go on Chryssy and will presumably survive until the end of the game. Issa doesn't have removal for it, and Chryssy's surviving until the end of the game.
Neat. So Nick fainted like he was going to activate Chryssy, and he doesn't have Blessings or Chain Plasma Rifle or Heirloom Cittern gems up.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious what these 3 gems are going to end up being, and it's possible that it's not very good.
Continue training or change the tide.
It's
right?
very likely change the tide, because if it was continue training, he wouldn't have considered activating Chryssy.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's not ideal for Nick, probably.
Especially not when your dice are all perfect.
This is a pretty good roll for all of Nick's heroes.
And my apologies in advance to all our listeners. You're going to listen to us meme about Lifecrafters art all day because this card says, when activated, you can reroll any number of blank dice this character rolled. And the running joke, and it's not really a joke, you'll see, is that hero just never rolls blanks, and this Lifecrafters art is not going to reroll any dice.
No, it will not indeed. I should probably stop making the joke, but every time I do, they roll perfect dice. So, like, I don't know.
And we finally saw Nick roll blanks at the end of last round, and then he forgot his trigger.
Yeah.
So Lifecrafters art really doesn't do it.
Yes. No, it does not. So we're on... Did Issa pass?
That seems absurd. No, Issa resolved damage.
Issa resolved damage. Never mind. Yeah. Okay, great. Issa's just sandbagging for as long as possible to try to figure out what we're doing this round.
And I'm pretty sure Issa's playing Pulpit Order.
Yeah, it's just Pulpit Order, right?
And
just a solid... Okay, here we go. Alric's going to activate. Rolling red, rolling blank. And then Pulpit Order is just a fine thing to do with 5 gems.
But Nick has Search and Destroy gems up. I think Issa really didn't want that to...
Okay, not Search and Destroy. This is a late continued training. Nick must have, like, some... Yeah, like Change the Tide or something.
Yeah, or some combination of pieces of removal. Maybe they were waiting on Excommunicatus Docide Thug.
Sure. And then Pulpit Order isn't going to allow that to be...
It does have 4 durability.
Yup.
You could have made that play.
That's true. So Nick's going to put another black counter here on Chryssy with continued training, and that'll be all of Nick's cards and dice output.
So now one of the tricks is, how do you get a premium dice on your Chryssy so that continued training can start growing premium dice?
Yep.
And Nick's options for that are Ambush, Magnite Studios, and Heirloom Saturn.
Heirloom Saturn. So there's like actually a decent number of things that are possible there. And Issa's going to dig in on Pulpit Order, getting just losing out on 2 blank red dice.
Yeah, that was costly.
That was costly.
But Issa thinks this thing is fragile, and they're relatively correct. There are Search and Destroys in Nick's deck. And protecting it and making sure that they get their dice all game is Plan A.
Yes, it is. All right, so going into round 2, Nick dealt a decent amount of damage, 6 damage to Alric here, and Issa did not do as much, dealt half that much damage.
And this continued training is getting started early.
Yeah.
I'm just a little surprised that he didn't use it immediately because it is fragile to detonate mines.
Yeah, but if Issa detonate mines this continued training, you still keep your 2 black counters around. Issa has to spend gems. And if Nick has a way to put a premium counter on Chryssy, then it like an Heirloom Saturn here next required Nick to activate Nina or 11C all to make a dice to remove for the Heirloom Saturn, and then continue training can grow that.
Yeah,
right?
Excellent point.
So there is certainly plenty of good reasons not to activate it first.
And Issa's looking at Disrupt Communications, which could remove the continued training, but
yeah,
that's not real good.
I see. So Issa is going to activate Alric here and play an Energy Retracer, taking out that blank red dice and putting a red counter on the shielded Pulpit Order. Now this thing is very good.
Yeah, monstrous.
Yeah.
And we really notice with Energy Retracer, you feel a difference what color dice you get.
Yeah.
And when you get the red dice, it's all gas, no brakes. You are going to be dealing a ton of damage. You're going to be shortening the game.
Yes. And putting those red dice on shielded guys is a very good way to keep them around for long enough that... Oh, yeah, it was an Heirloom Saturn.
Yep, excellent read.
Yep. Keep those red dice around just long enough to win the game with them. So... Heirloom Saturn here is going to remove the 2 modify that 11CL rolled, so that Energy Retracer taking out the blank red dice was actually incredibly important, wasn't it? For Issa.
If Heirloom Saturn had taken out the red dice, then the Energy Retracer would have taken out the 2 modify.
Sure,
Either way, those
okay.
2 dice were going away.
Yeah. That's fair. But now, continued training on Nick's side here is going to be able to make another green counter.
And just like that, this Chryssy is up to 8 dice.
Yes, it is.
And Nick is showing Blessing of the Cloth gems.
Yeah. So something I noticed about Nick's deck is there's so many 3-cost cards. If you look at the curve, it's like 2 cards, and then like 3 cards, and then like 10 cards. And so Nick's round 2, I think, is like always 2 3-drops. And which ones he plays are actually really interesting for the course of the game.
We posited that. Oh, look, life cards are re-rolling 3 dice
into not blanks
and finding dice face 5.
Yeah. All right, that was really, really good.
Yeah. All right. Redemption arc.
Redemption arc, indeed. So that's this gigantic Chryssy activation and no Blessing of the Cloth.
Yeah, and we were positing that the 3 gems last round might have been Excommunicatus, Docide Thug.
They still could be.
But if that was the case, you probably would have seen this apparition get eaten.
Yeah, probably.
Prior to the Chryssy activation.
Okay.
And we are...
I bet it's changed the tide.
We are at the phase where these players are both excellent and we expect them to play perfectly.
Yeah.
So we are at the phase where that play not being snapped off immediately makes me think it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. So, yep, it's changed the tide. I mean, what else in Nick's deck makes sense in this scenario, right? So, Issa's going to lose, 4 damage, I believe? And Nick is going to modify into 4 damage, which immediately gets Protection of Beliefed. That's a huge Protection of Belief.
Yeah, and Issa has a lot of really excellent dice interaction.
Yeah.
They're on Change the Tides, they're on Protection of Beliefs, they're on Sleight of Hands, they're on Energy Retracers.
Yeah.
Nick doesn't get to play Protection of Belief. Nick is allowed to, effectively can't play Sleight of Hand the same way they can't play Protection.
Yeah.
And they're on back alley deals, but that's much more pedestrian.
Yes, I agree. So Issa's going to spend energy here into Eldry's energy ability and roll no blanks. That's a pretty good reroll. Oh, I guess there is a blank. Never mind. But either way.
They went from no damage to 5 damage.
Yeah.
I think they already had Modify showing on black dice. But with this Modify now, that's 9 damage showing, which is very likely to dispatch Nina.
Yeah. And that Protection of Belief, taking out 4 damage, is enough to keep Alric alive, I think.
It sure seems that way.
Yeah.
Nick could reroll for the dream, but it's very low probability. And Nick showed us in Placement Match A just how valuable the flurry of events in the late game can be. So he's going to keep cards in hand. He's actually going to add more cards to his hand.
Yep. So Issa is going to tactical reroll here, and we're at the phase of the round where Nick is going to do 1 damage and then dig in. So Issa is running the show. Issa tactical rerolled into a 2 modify, and then with that black one, we get to 3 modify into 6 damage, and then that's going to be enough damage to take out 11 Cial or Nina, I'd imagine, right?
And we've talked about so many matchups where it's like Nick lost their hero, Issa didn't lose their hero. Huge advantage, Issa. That's kind of not the case here.
No, it's not.
Nick's 211s, there you use the word bodyguard, or you use the word punching bag.
Yeah.
I think you might use the word bodyguard in the placement match.
Yeah, sure. They're here to be health with energy shield 1 in front of Chryssy.
Right, and so Nick losing that Nina is basically Nick losing life. Like literally he loses dice, but whatever. Issa losing heroes meaningfully impacts Issa's output.
Agreed. Yeah, that's gem production. When Alric goes away, there is a noticeable difference in the cards Issa is able to play.
Now, Nick does not have frag grenades, so there's no easy way for Nick to snipe this Alric before Issa gets to use it.
Ambush.
Yeah, you could see an ambush.
But that's not very good because Nick wouldn't want to ambush the 11 Cial and wouldn't want to ambush the Chryssy before putting more dice on it with attachments and continued training. So,
yeah, but knocking your opponent off a gem, probably worth it.
Either way, Nick's going to start the round by activating continue training for another green counter on Chryssy. And this continue training is really showing why it shows up in so many lists.
Yeah, it's already put 4 dice on this Chryssy, 2 black, 2 green.
Yeah. Very, very, very good. Interesting. Issa's going to infer that Nick didn't have a way to snipe Alric, so Issa's going to just activate Jeremiah.
But it means an ambush now is excellent.
It does, in fact. But Nick is going to play a Blessing of the Cloth here on Chryssy. So that's 3 attachments. That's the last attachment. But there's the Heirloom Cittern could be overwritten here later on in the game pretty easily.
And this is an 11 dice Chryssy.
Yep. And only growing from here.
Yeah, she is simply gargantuan. She's not going to get defeated this round. She's going to get activated at least twice.
Yes. Yes, she certainly will. And that's the whole point of Nick's deck, is building the most massive Chryssy legal in the game.
Yeah. Compared to Issa, who has this huge pulpit order. And now it's, 4 dice, not 13.
Yeah.
But
it still looks pretty solid.
Yeah, the support object dice for Issa are still very good.
Yes, they are. So Issa's trying to determine how this round is going to go, and it looks like it starts with Eldry. So rolling black, and there is no event.
Ooh.
Okay.
I was out here thinking he's about to masquerade into an orchestral conductor. Oh, there is an event.
Okay. So disrupt communication will take out the Blessing of the Cloth. Interesting.
And it's always a little weird removing attachments from your opponent's flagship when there's already 3, because it's entirely possible that this just opens up a slot for Nick to play another threat when he might not have had that opportunity otherwise.
I mean, Heirloom Cittern adding the green counter was why it's in the deck. It can get overwritten pretty reasonably.
Yeah, but
so like removing the second one, right?
And there's the 2 cute to die.
Okay.
So that's going to add 2 premium dice. It's going to add a shield. That
looks like a great target for a disrupt communication.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so Chryssy is still 11 dice, still massive.
Alric is still alive, which means Energy Retracer is still on the table. Is there one in that hand? There is.
Well, Issa still got a Sapphire Mine up, so.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but yes, Energy Retracer into Protection of Belief is still a possibility. So here's Chryssy's activation. We've got a ton of dice and a Lifecrafter's art. So re-rolling blanks.
She's re-rolling 3 dice.
Nicely done. And
into Dice Face 5. Does Lifecrafter's Art's been Dice Face 10?
Yeah, this is the best Lifecrafter's Art I've ever seen.
Does the meme die today? No, it's the children who are wrong.
Yeah, so this is gonna be 10 damage out of Nick, probably?
Yeah, we see 3 damage and 3 modify, so just that is 9. Oh, we see 4 damage and 3 modify, so just that's 10.
Sure, great. Napkin Mask shows that my intuition is close. So Alric's activation here is going to play an Energy Retracer, putting a purple counter on both itself and on the Pulpit Orator. That was a massive Pulpit Orator. That might be worth a Hidden Blade Search and Destroy next round or something like that.
Yeah, notably, Nick does not have Declaration of Wars or Strike Downs in their deck, and this is an open decklist tournament, so Issa knows exactly what reactions Nick is capable of mustering.
Exactly how good this shield is on this Pulpit Orator.
It's quite good, and again, he paid a lot for it, right? Yeah. He dug in onto it, giving up 3 dice in round 1.
Yes, yeah, it was... It is pulling its weight, though.
Yeah, costly and valuable.
Yep. Nick did finally defeat Alric there with 1 damage. It was always going to happen this round, just when is really more the question. And Issa, now that all of our gems have been spent, I guess Issa still has blue, but Issa, I guess, still doesn't have a 4 damage Protection of Belief.
Yeah, there isn't a 2 mental showing on Nick's side.
Yeah, maybe Nick's able to play around it with modifying and resolving dice in just the right order. But other than that, it looks like our dice have been made, other than, I guess, 1 Sapphire Apparition. And so we have a pretty decent idea of what the rest of this round is going to look like.
So Nick tactical rerolls, and he tactical rerolls dice that make mental damage, so he's not pussyfooting around the Protection of Belief.
Because he could resolve this red 2 damage and then...
But it's pretty awkward to do that when you want to reroll before you modify.
Yeah, exactly. Nick will resolve some draw to get more tactical reroll ammo.
And more dice disruption events for next round.
Yep. So Issa is going to tactical reroll white, purple. You don't usually see white dice get tactical rerolled, but when you have Eldry's energy ability, if Issa hit energy there, that rerolls
7?
9 dice. And so that would be pretty massive. And so Issa's going to spend this purple energy, which is, a little less good than if it had been a white energy, but that's fine, to re-roll a whole handful of dice here.
Yeah, I think that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
And that's
8.
a good re-roll. That's 5 physical damage and I guess just 5 physical damage. That's 2 energy. With Jeremiah's energy ability is 3 damage.
Yeah, so
that was plus 8 damage.
Plus 8 damage.
Yeah.
So 11 Cial is going to get defeated here. Chryssy's going to have a massive chunk taken out of her.
Yeah.
This is round 3.
This is round 3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, we're not. This isn't round 2.
Yeah. I lost my bearings a little bit.
Yeah. So Nick, it looks like, isn't going to be able to fully take out Jeremiah. And Issa will be able to take out 11 Cial, like you said, and take a chunk out of Chryssy, because Issa rolled 1 million damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And Issa still has the opportunity to reroll, and on this red and green dice, like, finding another 3 would not be a surprise.
Yeah, I agree. Just look at Issa's board. This is like the dream when it comes to playing just a bunch of energy retracers.
Oh, wow. Issa could be presenting lethal.
No way.
If this dice roll had found the 3 damage that I purported, they would be showing 19 and needing to beat 2 shields.
Oh.
Now it only found 1, but Issa's got a couple more rerolls.
Okay, you're right. That is, 14 damage?
Yeah, we talked about Energy Retracer on red is aggressive,
Yes,
ends
it
games
is.
quickly.
Wow.
And this is what we're talking about. The output
Okay.
here is simply insane.
Yep. So take out 11 Cial, take off Chryssy's shield, Nick digs in, take off Chryssy's shield. Right now, we're dealing 6 damage to Chryssy. So Issa needs plus 10 damage, which is going to be hard.
Right now we're dealing 9 damage to Chryssy.
Because the energies. Yeah. Okay. So we need 7. So yeah. So
Wait, and you're unlikely to find 7 on these 3 dice.
yeah, if these 3 roll into 2 damages apiece,
then you can start talking about rerolling your red dice.
Exactly. But I think Issa's going to be pretty content to resolve the draw 2, resolve the rend 2, put a big chunk into Nick. Call it a day.
Oh,
it's a pretty good day.
A performance-enhancing accoutrement has been handed to Issa. We got some Tim Hortons coffee.
Yeah, we do.
We are not in Canada, but we're only like 40 miles from it.
Right. Okay, well that reroll wasn't particularly great. Modifying to 2 damage. So it'll be 7 damage into Chryssy. 7 out of 10. 10 damage into
10
Chryssy.
damage into Chryssy. Chryssy is at 6 life.
Wow.
Notably, there are no crackles in either of these decks, so players are going to be finding their damage through dice.
The honest way.
The honest way. So now it is quite likely that the game ends in round 4 because we saw used to do 19 damage that round.
Yes.
19's a good deal more than 6.
Yeah. Yes.
But there is this thing that happens in Manifold, especially with blue decks, where there's a round where we're going to be spending a bunch of gems on events, disrupting our opponent's dice, preventing us from being defeated.
Sure.
And so if Nick can defeat Jeremiah and make it to the next round and go first next round.
Sure.
He's stolen games like that before.
Yes,
That's what this deck is really good at.
He certainly has. So Ambush is going to be Nick's start here, putting a blue counter on Chryssy and immediately activating her.
Wait, can he steal the game this round?
I mean, he could. This is a ton of dice.
And Issa has to activate a bunch of stuff.
Or just like play it, protection, belief, change the die type thing.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the things that's really neat here. Nick making 14 dice with 1 activation doesn't give Issa the opportunity.
That's what you mean.
To make their disruption.
Yeah. So yeah.
Lifecrafters starts rolling 5 dice.
Lifecrafters Art looked
finds
amazing.
Another dice face 5. Lifecrafters Art has been dice face 15. Now don't get me wrong, he could have rerolled those dice elsewise or whatever, but this was
good.
the Lifecrafters Art game we've always wanted.
What happened here was Nick did find 6 damage, right? Oh no.
3 damage. 3
damage
was what Nick needed.
3 was
to
the
defeat
number.
Jerry.
Never mind. Yeah.
6 is the end the game number.
Yeah,
for
6
Issa.
is the other number that matters. So that defeats Jeremiah before he can activate, but then Protection of Belief is going to take out 4 damage.
I think I might have taken out 3. I think it might have been a 1 physical.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it was a 2 on the red dice.
Okay, my mistake.
Yep.
Which means Nick's now showing 4 damage and a sabotage.
That's not 12.
Chryssy's energy ability is draw 1, which is
not great.
Yeah, it doesn't end games.
So I think Oh, Nick is gonna... Okay, so Nick is going to play Hidden Blade. It will go on Chryssy and then immediately get overwritten.
Takes the shield off the pulpit order.
And then search and destroy the pulpit order.
So
okay.
That's a really interesting decision.
Okay.
Because Nick opted to remove Issa's ability to roll 4 dice rather than sabotage 2 dice.
Yeah.
And because of the number of cards in Issa's hand, that's probably a good idea, because Issa would probably re-roll those 4 dice into 4 useful faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, we're in the top 8. Players are making good decisions. I had to question it, but after thinking about it, Nick's right there.
Yeah, and I was about to say, that's all well and good. Nick doesn't have any gems, so Issa can just slam an orchestral conductor here and just not worry about the removal.
Not worry about the removal, that's true, but Issa now needs to spend 4 more rounds making dice. Nick's going to spend those 4 rounds re-rolling. And lethal's a possibility here.
Yeah. I think Nick wins this game by surviving this round, not by winning this round.
Sure.
I'm not doubting Nick's ability to seal this game.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like shields and sabotage and modify into those. I guess there's only 2 blue dice. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think Nick's hand did not give him the opportunity to take that line.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Issa's going to roll 6 damage off the first energy retracer and then roll 2 more damage off of the second. So no matter what, no matter how much shields and sabotage, the spooky amount of damage coming out of Issa right out of the gate.
It is, and Nick's going to get to dig in, and so Nick is going to functionally have a sabotage and 2 shields. What Nick needs to do here is find lethal. It's not going to win you the game, but it's going to force Issa to respect it and to maybe modify into shield instead of modifying into damage. And posturing aggressively is how you might give yourself the opportunity to get to the next round.
Yeah, you're actually right, aren't you? This if Nick rerolls purple, green, not showing damage into 6 damage, or one of them into damage, then modify 2 can make 12 damage.
Yep, and Eldry's not currently shielded, and sabotage would answer a shield dice.
Yeah, you're right. That is actually probably the line.
Oh, so that's another modify 2, which does let Nick modify into lethal, but you have to modify out of the sabotage, and that puts you to...
Yeah, so, okay.
Now you have to resolve your sabotage. Yep.
And
so
Issa's got too many dice showing damage.
So Nick is scooping it up. It's not literally over because Nick has the opportunity to sabotage. But if Nick sabotages, then
I think that
there's another 2 off the table.
Yeah, Issa has another 2 off the table. So that's just sabotage and then resolve 6. And
man!
Wow.
Yeah. So that was round 4. Wow,
Yeah.
that game felt really fast for a 4-round game. It was really fast. Timestamp says 27 minutes. So,
Our players just played quick and made a bunch of red dice and just crushed.
Yeah, that was glorious. That was Manifold at its best.
Congratulations, Issa. You are moving on to the top 4.
To the semifinals.
The first semifinal contestant.
Yes, excellent. And that format is going to be a little different because that format is going to be best 2 out of 3 against 1 opponent.
Yes, and we'll talk more about that as we get closer. But for now, Nick is going to be dropping down to play in the survival match against whoever wins the next game, which is the rebound match.
And I think that Nick went into the survival match in each of the previous rounds.
I think so too.
Or maybe not the He played in the survival match in every round this game.
So
tournament.
This tournament, yeah. So Nick will be fine. He knows how the survival match works.
Yep. He's no stranger. I'm sure he's still feeling confident because he just learned how to use Lifecrafter's art, and he is ready to take that new technology into the final game.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching this banger of a game. We will see you in the next one.